Welcome to Integrity Inspire, your daily dose of inspiration and motivation, featuring the bright and talented members of the Integrity Marketing Group family. Now, here's your host, Integrity co-founder and CEO, Brian W. Adams.
On today's podcast, we have one of my really good friends and one of the most inspiring people I personally know. When I first met Dave Thomas and ThomasArts, it was one of those kind of kindred spirits moments for me personally. In fact, they kind of brought this entire booklet of information, probably 70, 80 pages of information about their company, and they were talking about partnering with integrity and really kind of going through all that they need to do with their business. And we met for probably 5 hours that day, no kidding, with our meeting and then going to dinner and then hanging out after dinner. And we literally never opened that book that was really all about Dave Thomas's business that he founded, and we never stopped talking about just things that we could do together. And it was kind of that shared passion and vision that we left that meeting and said, we have got to be partners no matter what it takes. We want to become partners because what Dave and his team do at ThomasArts is an amazing team at ThomasArts. Really how they serve the market and how we serve the market complement each other so well that there's no telling how many people that we could help together. And so Dave is, if I had to sum up Dave in a sentence, I would use, especially from an old advertising, he's an advertising guy, but if I had to really sum him up, I would say that he's like the Dos Equis commercial. He's the most interesting man in the world. Dave has been a music guy. He's been an insurance guy. He's been an advertising guy. He has been a businessman. He's done almost everything that you could imagine, and he's one of the best people that you'll ever meet. And so I am incredibly proud to welcome to this show my good friend, Dave Thomas. Dave, thanks for joining us, buddy.
Holy smoke. What an intro. Brian, thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being our partner. Now, ThomasArts is a marketing and advertising agency, really. And really, whenever we decided to partner together, the whole idea is if you took what we're building at Integrity, and really just the way that we have this heart of serving Americans that need to plan for one of the toughest days of their life, when they need health or life insurance, and you take all of the marketing and advertising that you guys have created. And for those of you who don't know that much about ThomasArts, I encourage you to go to ThomasArts.com. This is one of the most incredible businesses. In fact, Dave and his team have literally done it all. And one of the things they've done, one of the most spectacular things that you guys have done, is they have created the largest and frankly the only advertising agency specializing in the 50 and over market in the U.S. In fact, they've got over 200 employees that specialize in helping them be effective. This is one of the most exciting kind of opportunities for us to come together. I'm not kidding. This is one of the most exciting. So Dave, I wanted to set that up because I know you're too humble of a person and a man to share some of those things. But if you don't mind, just share a little bit more about ThomasArts, what you guys are doing there at, as you call it, TA, and kind of maybe as you see our place in the market or things that we can do here together.
Yeah, that would be very interesting because, as Brian said earlier, when we first met, we started talking about all the things that we knew in common about what was going on in the marketplace, all the things that are happening out there, the opportunity for a company like Integrity to really kind of go out and just kill it, which is exactly what is happening. And a lot has happened since we first met. We saw ThomasArts as fitting right into that because of our specialty, our understanding of seniors. we have been really in this space going back so far. I mean, go back to some of the first Medicare companies that were in existence in the country in the early 80s, 90s, all the way through today. And we've worked for almost all of them along the way and done some really good work. We developed some of the original kind of planning documents that long ago that some of the other competitors started to take as their kind of plans, their sequencing of media and the way they went about creating. And it was very interesting to kind of see that over the years, and what we created actually became industry standard. But then, to your point, Brian, the world started to change. And it used to be that we'd do it on television or put it on, email or, well, there wasn't, not email at that point, but we'd do direct mail, we'd do newspaper. We'd wait for the phone to ring. That was the only one way to respond to something like insurance with a phone call. And then the internet came along, we put a URL up there. But then all of a sudden, around 5 or 6 years ago, it all started to change. Because we believe that you have to meet the consumer where the consumer is. You must meet the customer where they are on their terms, where they're at. And the customers started to move the way that they were incorporating media into their lives, media, entertainment, and news. So how do you reach them with advertising and marketing that's going to, get them involved in something that you're trying to do? How do you do that if they're moving? Well, you've got to move with them, or you've got to move ahead of them. And we don't believe that we moved any too early, but we moved into the data and digital space because even seniors, you consume your media now. You think about, some of the spots that you might have seen or some of the advertising you might have seen. I would bet that you're thinking right now that as you're looking at anything, you're either already online and you're seeing advertising online, you're seeing television online, you're seeing YouTube, or if you're watching television, you're watching with one or two other screens open and you're moving around as you're watching. And that is exactly what is happening in the senior market today. Those who especially are under around 73 now, they're different. And those who are younger than, 65 are different too, because they grew up in an entirely different age. You talk about boomers. There's two sets of boomers. There's what we call, the older boomers, and then what we call the X-boomers, because they act almost like the X-boom, the X generation. They act a little bit more like Generation X than boomers, some of the younger boomers. They're coming along. You have to meet them where they're at. So we had to change and go digital. And that's a trend that continues today. The traditional methods are not dead by any means, but you can really have success in the plus 50 market moving to digital. And those are some of the things that we think that we can do together with integrity and out.
Yeah, Dave, you bring up such an interesting point because my mom and my dad, as you know, ran funeral homes, and my mom actually still uses a typewriter today. She if she's going to type a letter, type up something, instead of getting on a computer, she's just never been comfortable with a computer. So she'll get on a typewriter still, which is amazing. I got two little boys, 5 and 8, that love to go over to their house because they get to type on the typewriter, and they've never seen one of those, and probably never see one again. But if you're hanging out with my mom and dad, my parents are both in their 70s now. If you hang out with my mom and dad, they're both on their cell phone, their iPhone. In fact, they've got newer iPhones than I've got, and they're on Facebook, and they're keeping up with their grandkids that are in college and their high kids. In fact, it's amazing. My parents just never adapted to technology, period, like hardly at all. But there's times that we're hanging out as a family, and I have to say, "Hey, Dad, like, do you mind putting down your phone? Like, kids are right here hanging out with you, want to hang out with you." But they are adapting way faster than what even any of us ever imagined. And so your point that you just brought up about having to meet people where they are is just such a really good one.
And we think that carries forward also with the messaging, Brian. It's also not just about where you go media, whether you go on Facebook, social, email, some of the things that you can do now that we couldn't do a few years ago, some of the ways that you can reach them where they are. You have to understand where they are. You have to understand who they are. And that gets into all that we have done research-wise that we try to compile to understand the psychographic nature. What they like, what they don't like, what are their music preferences, what are some of their other preferences that allow us to group them into, kind of segments and be more individual in our messaging to them. And so we also, when we're talking about meeting them where they are, we've got to understand who they are to get the right message to them, which is where kind of the science and the creative meet at ThomasArts. We've got data scientists, but we've got world-class creatives that can really nail a creative message. We've got media people that can get it in the right place. And with all that in place, then we're ready, and we can really start to strike and make a real impact.
Man, I think you hit on a couple of points that are really important. And so one of my passions here at Integrity is there is no one, in my opinion, that can really serve people the way that the people at Integrity can, especially in the senior market. Not only do we have all the products available to our 270,000 agents that work with us across the country, but we have expertise and really understand that this is all we do. Somebody was just asking me yesterday, what makes you guys so successful at Integrity? And I said it's very simple. We're very focused on serving our chosen customers, which is the senior market and their place of need. So we're very focused on that. And second, our team is experts. They know this product line. They know this market. They know the need better than anyone else. So if you think about our Medicare market, Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement, our people are passionate about it. And when you're passionate about something, it's easy to become an expert at it. When you think about final expense or mortgage insurance, like we've talked with some of our guys, man, we have people who that is their passion, including my own, and really helping meet people where they are and serving them. Or if you talk about long-term care insurance, there is no one who knows that market better than our team, with Lenny Anderson, John Wayne, Mike Lynch, David Wayne, and you just keep going down the line with all of the people in our business that know that market and are passionate about it. That's what they've dedicated their life to. And so the same thing goes with our annuity business. We've got some guys who are just passionate about that and know it inside and out. And one of the things I just loved whenever I first met you, you were one of the first people I ever met that had the same passion about serving and meeting Americans where they are in this need, in their life and health insurance need. Frankly, that they without having a license at this point, and without really, being, quote, in the business, so to speak, of promoting products, you guys knew more about the market than anybody else I'd ever met, and that goes deep, right? I mean, this is how did you get started in the market, in the insurance market? Is this something you just stumbled upon and just found, or how did you get started in the insurance business, Dave?
I actually started my career almost. I started first as a musician playing in bars when I was 15, and did that. Got married very young. Kathy and I married young. We started a family very early. I was 18. She was 19. Was not all the way through school when I just was out of money and nowhere to go. Had 2 kids and one on the way, and I think I was 22. And so I started with a debit account at Prudential. We can talk another time about a debit account, but I learned a lot about the insurance business.
That's old. So you were selling insurance on a debit route. Is that what you're saying?
On a debit route. That's right.
Now that is for people who don't know what that is. That is old school insurance sales where you literally would go out and sell a policy and then go back and collect the premiums personally by 72 cents or whatever every week. And so that is, talk about building relationships. Now you gotta meet those people where they are and understand, like, you're in their home every week, right?
Yeah, it started every week in the Depression, and I wasn't quite that old, but in the Depression, that's the only way that people, some people think I'm that old and have that illusion. It's not too far off. But these folks, the only way they could pay for it is to pay for it weekly. So they go in and buy a small insurance policy on a baby or on themselves, and they pay for it 30, 40 cents a week, and the guy would go and collect it. Now, by the time I got into it, you're doing some of them biweekly and some monthly, but you were in the home of people who were your customers at least once a month, collecting their premium. And as you do that, you find out, hey, what's going on with the family? What's going on? Who moved in next door? What happened there? What's going on with your family? Are they all doing well? And you get to know these folks. They'd start to trust you, and then they start giving you referrals because you were there all the time. And that taught me a lot about, building relationships right from the beginning was a very important thing that I learned right off the bat. Then I graduated finally from school and became a music teacher, was still gigging at night, then started doing jingles. I wanted to score movies, but, I tried to do it. I lost out on a couple of them, one of them being Top Gun. I was a finalist for that one, but lost it. But I did jingles, and that was quick.
Dave, you can't go over that. Like, that's one of my favorite movies of all time. And I'm surprised you brought that up, because I know, like, I've seen your face whenever somebody talks about Kenny Loggins and Top Gun. Like, so ladies and gentlemen, literally, Dave was writing jingles and also scoring movies, and one of the movies he was runner-up to almost got we would be in a different place. I think America would be in a different place if you would have gotten that, because we would have missed out on all the marketing and advertising you've done for the senior market. But you literally almost got the movie Top Gun. So riding through the danger zone and all those great hits from that movie, that could have been you, bro. Like, I know that brings up some feelings, but man, that's amazing. How'd you even pitch that?
So I had all these jingles that I'd written and some other minor scoring things for television, and some of them were orchestral, some of them were rock, some of them were more jazz, and I had to put together tapes. You would put together tapes. So I'd take the words out of what I'd written and just put in the instrumentals, put them into a reel, send them to the studio. Then the studio, if you were in it, they'd call you back and ask you to do a couple of things, just samples on your own, invest in it. So I'd bring in musicians and we'd do some of that. Then I went back and I went through 3 rounds there and got to runner-up to Harold Faltermeyer, who actually scored that film. And then they had some other songwriters contribute as well.
That's amazing. Well, I know one of your biggest points. We heard Mike Wingate talk about this on a previous call about relationships are the key to business, and really focusing on relationships. So for the people on this call, that we're in a relationship business. In fact, our business is a relationship business. It's a people helping people business. How do you guys at ThomasArts look at relationships, and how do you guys really build those relationships? Because, man, people have other options, right? There's other big advertising firms that are trying to go after your clients every day, I assume. How do you guys keep them with you and keep that relationship so strong?
Well, it starts with when you first meet them, you've got to really invest, and you've got to invest in them. We try to, as you do, Brian, as you do, you try to make sure that there is a personal side to what's going on with them. It's not just all business. You're listening to what's going on with them personally. I'm really listening to them. And after that, after you get to know them, it's don't drop that relationship. It takes effort to call clients, but that client is worth it. And I believe at ThomasArts, we've developed a culture, and Ann was very instrumental in just keeping this culture going as we've grown. And that is, we call clients every day. We call them every day. We try to do lunches with them. If it's a new client, we try to go meet them face to face, no matter where they're at in the country. I believe plane tickets at one time before this all started were cheap compared to the relationship that you would have with a client, and building that relationship and being in front of them often. I don't think ThomasArts would be ThomasArts today unless we had people that really inspired confidence through building relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the fact that you guys are calling them every day and touching base with them and seeing meeting them where they are, right? I mean, it comes back to what you started with. How do you so for, like, this is a new world we're living in, right? And we all understand that. And I think we're starting to understand that maybe better. But so right now there is a tendency in life when you go through something tough or you see something that's scary, that you kind of shrink within yourself, right? And you say, I'm just going to get almost defensive, right? Where you're just kind of holding up, so to speak, to where you're not taking risks, you're not taking chances. You're just kind of trying to just hold on in some regards. You guys, I mean, you work with a lot of the biggest carriers in the market, but also just biggest companies in this market. Listen, you've been around. If you could have scored the movie Top Gun, that means you've been around for a while. So you've seen some stuff. Like, you saw '87 and the crash. You saw 9/11 and just what happened with that. You saw what happened in '08 and '09. So what have you seen just with your experience? Because other people may have not seen that. I mean, what do you see great companies do in times like this?
Great companies, Brian, in moments of crisis, double down. They double down because everybody else is scared and backs off. When fear hits the market, we have grown market share just amazingly in some of those crashes and downturns you talked about. When there was a downturn, when something happened, dot-com bubble, the companies that then, instead of backing off, just increased what they were doing on a sales and marketing side. They got more market share gains during those periods than at any other period, even when they gained market share when sales were down, they gained market share. Then when the markets came back, they were 6-8 points ahead of where they were just a year or two before that. And there is a Navajo symbol. It looks like a plus sign. It's the sign of the cross, and one line represents danger, and the other line represents opportunity. And the intersection of those lines are what they call that's what you do in a crisis. It's where danger and great opportunity meet, that the greatest rewards come from being bold in that moment. And I think that that's where we're at. And I believe that the moment that we're in right now is ripe for opportunity. And it's because even a boomer like me, who has been, I'm never going to die. Screw it. We've defied everything else. We're not dying. I refuse to die. We're not going to die. Our generation is freaking not going to die. Something like's going on today. It changes your attitude a little bit. And you think maybe you're not as immortal as you think you are. And maybe time is going to catch up with you at some point. And being at home and being around family makes you think differently. And I believe that there are attitudes that are changing out there about the way that they will look at our products and services. And I think that those who have shrugged them off are going to see more need from them right now, going to see more need going forward. I think the attitudes are going to be changed. And it's not going to be one of invincibility. It's going to be one of wake up and take care of yourself, take care of the stuff you need to take care of. Who's going to help them with that besides us? We're better at it than anybody. We can meet them where they are. We can meet them where they are in their lives. We can meet them where they are psychologically, and we can help serve them and make sure that in spite of their own boomerishness, they get the things that they need. And I think that we're going to be in a great position to do that now and moving forward. Now is a time of huge opportunity for everybody to double down. And that's what we would expect that we would do.
Hey, listen, that's what we're doing at Integrity, and that's where that's exactly what we expect everybody to do. In fact, there's a Latin proverb that says, "Fortune favors the bold," right? I mean, you go for it. You go for it. You double down during these times because that's where you really separate people, and you can leapfrog competitors when they're not investing in technology, when they're not investing in things like what at ThomasArts. Whenever we announced this partnership with you, there were company execs, there were competitors, there were even some of our partners that were scratching their head literally and go, "Why would you buy an advertising agency? What were you thinking?" Right? And I'm like, you have no idea. Over time, and we can't even talk about all the things that we're working on together because I want to save that for another day. But fortune favors the bold, right? And so we're going to make bold moves. We're going to help people as much as possible during this time and go above and beyond, provide world-class service and support and expertise, stay focused, and when you do that, we will leapfrog competitors during that time. And I believe that the partnership that we have with you and Ann and Troy and everybody, Jason, Jake, I mean, everybody you guys have that are you have some amazing people. And if you partner with people first that are great people, that are world-class, really smart, there's no telling where we can go. I think Warren Buffett also said it best, is be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. There's a lot of people that are fearful today, that are scared. And so what we're going to do during this time is what we're doing is we're doubling down, man, and we're going to continue growing this business. And it's people like you, Dave, that make Integrity so special. And so I just want to tell you, thank you so much for joining us on this call. I think as people get to know you and your team and they see what we're going to be able to do together, people are going to realize how bold of a move that was, but how fortunate we are that we all came together. So I really appreciate you joining us today. Love you guys and appreciate all that you guys are doing for sure.
Thank you. We're going to rock it, Brian.
We are going to rock you. If you missed Dave's little "We will rock you" in the beginning, you missed. Man, you got called in early. It was pretty spectacular. Hey everybody, thanks again for joining us on today's call. I want to especially thank my buddy Dave Thomas. Hopefully you guys heard some insight and some ideas. This is when you double down. This is when we encourage agents, and you heard Mike Wingate talk about this. This is when we encourage agents to invest in more leads, to get prepared for when this breaks, when build that relationship. People will remember who was there for them in times like this. Really excited about the opportunities that we have here at Integrity. Really proud of all that we're doing. Tomorrow's Inspire Call is going to be another great one. I can't wait for you guys to all join us on that one. Keep doing what you're doing. We're having great results and helping a lot of people at the same time. Thank you all. Hope you have a great day. God bless you guys. Take care. Bye.